What's up, netizens? You're watching DarkStar. My name's Anthony. I'm jumping fellow reaction here. Joey, what's up, dude?
I saw it, dude.
Dracula versus Ganondorf. You got any preferences?
Dracula.
Okay. So we're making this personal today. Okay.
We are. I mean, no, I'm not a huge Zelda fan.
Yeah, we got
I
a
played
word for that
Castlevania
around these
forever ago.
parts called being a bitch.
I used to like Castlevania years if I can go, but
More like Castlelamia.
am I right? You know.
Well, Ganondorf, from what I have been told in the comments, is not going to win this, but I hope that they're wrong and that Death Battle finds some ridiculous one-off feat somewhere in Ganondorf's history that makes him just like outrageously powerful. I'm a Zelda fan. Yeah, Ganondorf's pretty lit. He's not like
we'll see
the best, but he's pretty sick.
I mean, he's got. If I had to compare what he looks like to another person that we've seen fighting, he's got some Akuma features.
Oh.
Oh shit!
I didn't know we were talking about fighting. I was gonna say, yeah, he does kind of look like you. Anyway, so all right, well, let's go ahead and see what the analysis is. I don't know anything about Dracula, so other than that he's a vampire.
Wow, never read Dracula or watched Dracula. It's not just all about Castlevania, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know anything about Castlevania's Dracula.
Okay. Well, he's from Avania.
May be fleeting and ephemeral, but true evil never dies.
It just comes back with a goddamn second health bar.
Ganondorf, the calamitous demon king of Princess Zelda's Hyrule.
I haven't seen that yet.
And Dracula, the everlasting vampire lord of Castlevania. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Millennia ago, in an age long past, the Demon King Demise threatened to pull the world into blood and war.
Until he got his ass slapped by this pointy-eared boy in green.
Undaunted by being, murdered, Demise cursed the blood of the goddess and the spirit of the hero to be forever haunted by his wrath made flesh. That curse became Ganondorf Dragmire.
Good old Dorf was born to the Gerudo tribe of the desert. Thing is, the Gerudo were all ladies, and Ganondorf was the first male born in 100 years, which automatically made him their king. Because... reason, I guess? So he gets to be in charge and has the best odds on Tinder? That's my dream come true. Who could want more?
Ganondorf could. Jealous of the neighboring kingdom of Hyrule, fields, clean water, and a godforsaken desert, he dreamed of a better world for his people.
Or, just for himself. Being the reincarnation of ultimate evil means you're probably kind of a selfish douche.
And surprisingly, his vile ambitions would be rewarded. Turns out, he was also preternaturally adept at magic, as befits an education from his caretakers, the witches Koume and Kotake.
From them, Dorf learned to pitch balls of electricity, summon lightning, move objects with telekinesis, levitate, form barriers, and control minds.
When he wishes to fight from a distance, he can create phantom horsemen or puppets of himself to battle as his proxies.
Or if he wants to get personal, he can use his dark magic to enhance his physical strikes, making him a badass at all ranges.
He's a master with a blade, sometimes two, and sometimes on horseback.
And sometimes two swords on two horseback?
Let's not get crazy. He was just a man, after all, though not for long. With his magical training complete, Ganondorf put his greatest skill to the test, his raw cunning. By manipulating the rulers of Hyrule and its neighboring domains, as well as a curiously familiar boy in green.
Hey, what do you know?
I Conra as well.
Ganondorf gained entry to an alternate dimension called the Sacred Realm. Within it lay the Triforce, a magical artifact left by the gods said to grant the wish of whomever touches it.
The perfect solution to all your world-conquering needs. Except once Ganondorf got his hands on those golden Doritos, two of them jumped ship.
See, only someone with a perfect balance of courage, wisdom, and power can wield the complete Triforce. If someone with an imbalance between those three virtues touches it, it splits. In this case, the pieces of wisdom and courage went to Ganondorf's enemies, Princess Zelda and the hero Link.
Oh, that's embarrassing. But he did get to keep the Triforce of Power, because who needs the courage and wisdom shit when you can just blow stuff up? That's how I live.
Burn
Even
all
on
those
its
hearts.
own, the Triforce of Power radically improved Ganondorf's strength and magical prowess, while also elevating him from a mere warlock to the Demon King he was always meant to be.
Literally, he can turn into a big blue pig monster.
The Dark Beast, known simply as Ganon, is a nearly unstoppable terror, gaining even greater strength without sacrificing any of his intellect.
As a bacon wizard, he can obliterate foes with
Nearly
fireballs, turn
unstoppable.
invisible,
Been
teleport,
stopped
summon
several
darkness,
times.
and even distort the space around him.
Despite all that power and even successfully ruling Hyrule for 7 years, Ganondorf was soundly defeated and sealed within the Sacred Realm. There he remained, trapped outside the spaces of reality, a prisoner to the void between space and time, never to return ever again.
Sorry. I couldn't keep a straight face.
Yeah, no, he got out like the next day.
So nothing holds Ganon back for long, and he's insanely tough to kill. In fact, thanks to his part of the Triforce, he's almost indestructible. While most weapons can technically harm him, it usually takes a holy weapon like the Master Sword or light arrows to put him down.
He once survived being crushed within his own castle, which, based on its size and composition here, and accounting for the hollowed out interior, should weigh over 11,000 tons.
Even better, he later withstood a different castle exploding around him. Wow, some of this guy in castles.
By measuring the size of the in-game castle model and assuming violent fragmentation, we can determine it was a blast worth almost 2 kilotons of TNT, a yield comparable to early atomic bombs. And even though holy weapons can bypass his defenses, he still survived being stabbed in the face with the Master Sword. You know, the literal blade of evil's bane.
Or like when he was impaled through the chest by one of the sages after he was supposedly sealed away. He just yanked that shit right out and murdered the bastards that did it to him. Heads
Damn.
up, Wiz, you ever stab me again and that's what's happening to you.
Right. Well, Ganondorf isn't just tough. He's powerful enough to
Seems
punch
pretty strong.
shockwaves, tear up an island, and block out the sky with his magical malice.
Plus, he can keep up with Link. He's even killed him in one timeline. And this fairy boy can dodge Beamos lasers.
Which are literal
that's coming
lasers.
into play
They
for
move
sure.
in a straight line, burn instead of exploding, and according to the game's guidebook, are called lasers. So they should move at light speed. Based on the distance Link moved relative to this beam, we can estimate his own reaction speed to be about 11% the speed of light.
Too bad old Dorf Lundgren doesn't get to hold on to Hyrule for too long. Still, you can stab and seal him away all you want. This big pork bastard will always be back to bring about your crispy demise.
That
In the
is
world of
by
Castlevania,
far the worst count
the
that
universe
I've
is
ever seen
governed
them
by
do.
2 opposing forces.
I can't believe they actually
order
put that in
and
here.
chaos.
Hey, is
And
that
I
you
want
and me, Wiz?
Ganondorf to win.
No, I mean literally.
Holy
As legend
shit.
goes, for God to be good, there must be an equal force of evil to create balance. An evil found in an alternate dimension called the Chaotic Realm. This is chaos.
But to keep his spot in the balance on Earth, Chaos needed to choose a Dark Lord to represent him, a Dark Messiah, if you will. As luck would have it, a perfect candidate would end up choosing him.
In the 11th century, Matthias Kronkvist was the strategic mastermind behind a company of knights, alongside fellow commander and best friend, Leon Belmont.
But as with most
Leon looks a lot
romances,
different
it
in
got
this game.
screwed up by a homance.
Boomstick, have some tact. His
Darn,
wife
it's on
died
this
from a
piece.
horrible illness.
Was it third wheeling? I'm sorry, Wiz, but you can already tell this guy is evil because his name is Math. I mean, I know we use math all the time to do this show, but sometimes one must embrace the darkness to see the light.
Right. Anyway, Matthias's grief was so intense, he swore vengeance on God himself. To achieve his vengeance, Matthias sought the powers of God's polar opposite, chaos.
So he set up an easy 6-step plan. Step 1. Pick up a red rock called the Crimson Stone. It'll be important later. Step 2. Force death itself to become your personal secretary. Step 3. Kill Luigi. Step 4. Convince a vampire named Walter to kill Leon's fiancée, cause misery loves company. Step 5. Let Leon murder poor Walt and have death shove his soul into that red rock. Step 6. Congratulations! You are now a vampire. Goth kids, I hope you were paying attention.
From that day forth, Matthias rejected his humanity. He became a vampire, and much more. He was the Dark Lord, Dracula.
There have been a lot of different versions of Dracula over the years, but this one isn't your run-of-the-mill, I want to suck your blood type. This Dracula is the avatar of chaos on Earth, the opposite to God. So, like,
Known as
the
the
devil.
Dark Lord.
He's basically the devil.
He didn't have much time to enjoy his new powers, though, as his former friend Leon swore revenge, a vow which would carry on throughout generations.
But good luck taking down this all-new and improved vampire lord. He's got your standard vampire loadout like blood sucking,
Those graphics are so baller.
telekinesis, and even tripping balls teleportation.
He can also exert his influence over all living things, whether it be mind control, body possession, or absorbing the souls and abilities of fallen enemies through his power of dominance.
Oh, like Kirby.
A demonic monster, Kirby.
Right, Kirby. Also, Dracula can shapeshift to his black heart's desire, like into a swarm of bats, a cloud of mist, and a wolf. Oh, I get it. The opposite to God, because he's a dog just like the way Alucard is Dracula backwards. God, I should do science.
He's also a master sorcerer, able to summon fireballs, meteors, and acid blood rain from the sky. Dark Inferno is a huge ball of magma that will fry anything in its path, and he can revitalize himself with another's life energy via Soul Steel.
Then there's his most powerful attack, a localized nuke of holy magic, the demonic Megiddo.
With all these powers, it's no wonder Europe trembled at his presence for centuries, though perhaps their fears were unfounded.
Yeah, despite being living chaos or whatever, Dracula was sometimes a pretty chill guy. He even got himself married and had a kid. Then again, kids are also the embodiment of chaos.
Sadly, the people of a nearby church grew suspect of his wife, accusing her of witchcraft. So they burned her at the stake, and Dracula swore vengeance upon the god they followed as...
Wait. Did he just get a total repeat of his backstory? Man, this guy can't catch a break.
He was even forced to battle multiple
next
descendants
Wolverine.
of Belmont, many of whom would actually defeat him.
Well, sort of. Turns out Dracula is a much tougher vampire to kill than lame old Walter.
Even after losing his entire body, Dracula's soul remained tethered to chaos. Thus, he would be resurrected every 100 years.
When he wants to go all out, he can draw from the power of the chaotic realm and transform into one of many awesome monsters. Like a giant demon bird, a giant demon head, and a giant demon
Man, games
head
were
in
so
a
baller
painting
back
that
in the day.
vomits out bats.
Dracula can punch hard enough to rend stone, move quick enough to catch arrows out of thin air, and even warp the fabric of reality itself.
With those arrows moving
He's
at light
tough
speed.
enough to survive
Like
a lightning
that
strike,
old
get blasted
Castlevania
by an
or The Last of
enormous
Us?
meteor, and even
Like,
get
you know what I'm
crushed under
saying?
the weight of his fortress, aka the Castlevania.
By measuring the size of Castlevania on the game's official art, we know it should weigh around 2 million tons. Even then, Dracula has regenerated his body from decapitation, a mess of blood, and even full-on disintegration.
So how the hell does he keep getting killed by everyone from Discount Conan to the Ghost of Weeb's Past?
Naturally, with the help of holy weapons, which Dracula is certainly not a fan of.
Also, even when he's turned his body into some misty vape clouds,
And the
he
Triforce
keeps his
thing
head
that the guy
vulnerable
has is a holy weapon?
because Video games.
Or more precisely, his hubris. Dracula's blatant arrogance
no
would lead
idea.
to his ultimate downfall, allowing his enemies to sever his connection to the chaotic realm and thus end his cycle of resurrections. So instead, he was reincarnated.
Into a white-haired anime boy with the power of friendship. Soma
What?
Cruz, who turned out to be just as powerful as Dracula Classic, like when he dodged beams of light or when he
Insert
defeated
fucking
chaos
question marks
itself.
here.
Dracula's influence and
How is this
power
relevant?
would never truly end. Even 10,000 years into the future, his bloodline continues to strike terror into the hearts of men. As long as good and evil exist,
Hold up, that's his kid? What the hell happened to him?
no ordinary man can stand up to the incredible force that is the Dark Lord Dracula.
Behold my
Oh shit.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
But first, all this talk of pigs and bacon has made me hungry for Blue Apron.
Thoughts?
I mean, I'm not really sure. I mean, I'm gonna stick with Dracula because I picked him first. I'm not a huge fan of Zelda, but I mean, it seems like he can die really easy. He just comes back to life, but it takes time. And
Yeah, that's
in
not a
death
thing,
battle,
right? That's what
yeah.
I was saying. Like the other guy's like, so he just got resurrected, and then they started talking about the other dude's feats. Like, how is that relevant? Like,
I mean, so
he's
once he
not gonna
dies,
get-
it's over.
he's not gonna get killed as Dracula, and then fucking like, and then they're just gonna put like 200 years later, fucking.
Yeah, I mean, in general, he's probably going to lose because, well, the whole, I don't know, it depends.
I don't know if he's gonna lose, but I think it would be really stupid if they tried to bring in that form.
The only way Ganon's going to be able to beat him is if that part of the Triforce he uses is considered a holy weapon. That's it.
So Ganondorf can only be killed basically by fucking legendary weapons from the Zelda universe too.
We're playing by my rules now, Tony.
I don't feel.
I'm sticking with Dracula.
I mean, maybe he can steal his life force or something. I don't fucking know. I do.
Kid Dracula.
I can't
believe.
believe. I literally cannot believe that they tried to use. Dracula's gonna win. Dracula's gonna win because they used like actual like feats for him or whatever. They tried to pull some like crazy shit out for fucking Ganondorf, based on this dodge by fucking like. First of all, you can time like when those things are like looking and seeing you and they're gonna shoot the things, right? Second of all, it's a person playing, so they know it's coming, so they just literally were dodging like preemptively, waiting for it to happen or whatever.
But they are going to use it, I think, to kind of benefit him because they did say that he beat Zelda before.
Yeah, no, but that's what I was
But that's
saying,
the
and that's
shit.
even worse. So
His
not
moves,
only was it
yeah,
not
yeah.
his feet, not only was it not his feet, but the feet was so dumb. It was so dumb. Like, I can't even begin to describe, like, it's the worst one that I've seen on here by so much. It's not even close. Like, other ones I can at least understand, like if a calc was maybe miscalculated or something like that, or if the logic potentially makes sense to some extent. This one is like, bro, there's no way they should have calculated that to be fucking 11% of light speed or whatever they did with him dodging out of the way with a controller played thing as part of the game mechanics. Like, there are so many mitigating circumstances to that, and also it's part of the game, like it's a game mechanic. It wasn't from like a cutscene or like you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it was a user doing it, and they already knew it was coming. Press the button to make him dodge. Nah, I feel you.
all right, let's go ahead and check it out.
Wow. Rude.
Your castle is lost, vampire. No man can challenge my power.
But what is a man?
Oh.
A miserable pile of secrets.
What is a man?
I pity the fool.
I'm no mere man.
I mean, at least we're gonna get a baller fight with the 3D and everything.
Yeah.
Oh.
Your tricks mean nothing.
hasn't even turned into Ganon yet.
I mean, this fucking animation
Damn.
is lit though.
Yeah, his definitely is one of the best ones.
They saved it for Dracula versus Ganondorf.
I mean, it's super smooth, and the animation style is sick too. Damn. This dude's head off.
Oh, and then Ganon's gonna transform too, huh?
Yep.
Holy shit, it's huge.
I think it's gonna come down to he doesn't have anything to kill him. Ganon, that is, doesn't have anything to kill Dracula. Well,
Ready to kill him right now.
nope.
You're right. You're not a man. You're a pig. Let me hear you squeal.
No, oh, okay. I was like, drinking his blood.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought I was about to win when his arm started
I
shaking
hope
and electricity.
someday I can learn to drink beers as violently as Dracula drinks people.
There was a lot going on here. Both Ganondorf and Dracula show similar reaction speeds, with only a small % difference when compared to the speed of light. They were both brilliant schemers who have perfectly manipulated many intelligent foes, and their standard magical arsenals seem pretty comparable overall.
But Dracula did have a leg up with a few extra magic powers that Ganondorf just didn't have. Like how he could rip out his soul in a bunch of different ways. That's something Ganondorf never really had to guard against before. Also, remember how Ganondorf survived an explosion worth about 2 kilotons of TNT?
An admirable feat, to be sure, but let's look at that meteor strike Dracula survived. Based on its size, composition, and speed of ablation, it must have struck with an energy equivalent to 2 megatons of TNT, 1,000 times greater than Ganondorf's proven durability.
But hey, I know what you're thinking. What about that sage sword Ganondorf had? Shouldn't he have had an easy time killing Drac since it's a holy weapon?
In some circumstances, sure. Running this fight over and over 100 times, Ganondorf would certainly score a few victories. But when considering Dracula's absurd regenerative abilities, it would take more than just a few hits from a holy weapon to finish him off. Not to mention, Dracula also wielded a holy weapon that took advantage of Ganondorf's weakness in the form of demonic Megiddo. Yeah, I know it's called demonic, so it seems weird, but it is explicitly described to be holy magic.
And dropping a holy nuke on Ganondorf was a way more powerful victory move than trying to hit Dracula with a sword. And that's really what this came down to, power.
Despite literally wielding the Triforce of Power, Ganondorf's potential paled in comparison to the energy Dracula drew from Chaos. Let's put this in perspective.
The Triforce of Power comes from the goddess Din, who made the Earth. While we don't know the exact amount of power Din put in this piece, let's just highball it and directly compare it to her.
So the energy attributed to the Triforce of Power could be compared to the size and energy of a planet. However, the chaotic realm is an entire universe, completely upheld by the power of the chaos entity. That is leagues greater than the power Ganondorf possessed.
So it definitely had a lot more juice to give.
Try thinking of the chaotic realm and the Triforce of Power as batteries, which fuel Dracula and Ganon's abilities. Compared to each other, Dracula would be drawing energy from something like a car battery, while Ganondorf's would be more akin to a small AA.
Wiz, I'll give you $5 if you lick that battery.
Rude.
Ganondorf certainly held his own, but Dracula's more varied magic, greater regeneration, and enormous reserves of power sealed this desert warlock's fate.
Of all the ways to go, that must have sucked. The big pig's chances were slim to none.
The winner is Dracula.
Huh.
Did you know we've got a card and dice dueling game?
Choose your weapons, armor, and skills before diving into the fight of your life.
Just don't eat the dice. They look like candy.
Well, oh shit, we got next week's thing. I forgot about that.
Sweet, dude.
Oh shit, Tatsumaki.
Bro.
Oh, versus Mob Psycho. Wow. Oh, I'm gonna have to binge Mob Psycho.
I know one of those two people.
I've never watched Mob Psycho, but I've wanted to for a while. It's got kind of a very similar like art style to One Punch Man, and I think it's like it's like a comedy type shonen, like One Punch Man is. So I've definitely been interested in watching it for sure.
Well, Dracula with the dub. Easiest one I've ever picked, dude. JK.
Shit, I mean, the battle was awesome. Let's just go with that. I don't feel like dealing with like the details. We went over them before. It's whatever.
Let's ignore all this.
I just briefly, I will say, like, unless they're suggesting that everybody who's ever beaten him in the series is like a universe-busting level character, I just don't think that it's reasonable to like. I don't know. Just I feel like there's just a leap in logic there, where they just went, "There's a universe in here, therefore he has a universal battery worth of power or whatever." Like if that was the case, then he wouldn't ever lose to anybody. He would just fucking shit on all of them.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. Sometimes they go through the whole thing and fight him as a boss and beat him or whatever. And they're just like regular people. They're not universe-busting level characters. They're just fucking regular people. And then if you want to say, well, of course, but they just happen to have the weapon, the holy weapons, to fight him or whatever, then you turn that into it and say, okay, well, Ganondorf had the holy weapon, so he fought him. Fucking stronger than they are, like normally, like the average character in the thing, potentially. I don't know if that's true or not, but if that is the case, then if he's got a holy weapon and they could beat him with a holy weapon, then theoretically he could win. I don't think that's the case necessarily. I'm not saying that Ganondorf should win at all, but like I don't see where like that part came into play. And the whole light speed thing was weird too. I don't know. So the one for Ganondorf I already talked about, but the one for Dracula, are they saying that just because he was reincarnated as somebody else, that old Dracula just gets his feats anyway?
I'm not sure.
And they just like retroactively gave him the feats and just said like, well, this reincarnated Dracula had this power, so it must be that everybody has that. Every version of Dracula had to have had that power as well.
Yeah.
Like, I don't necessarily agree with
know.
that. I mean, if there's, it's possible that makes sense, but if there's even a single discrepancy in what old Dracula versus that new Dracula could do power-wise, if there's even a single ability that one could do that the other one couldn't do, then that immediately dispels that connection. You can't just say you immediately are no longer able to say that one can just do what the other one can do. You have to separate their feats.
Yeah.
So, okay. But anyway, besides that, the battle was fucking sick. The animation was the best, I think, animation that I've seen them do so far. There's been like more epic fights and stuff like that, but the smoothness and the details, and the atmosphere, and just the animation style itself was just really fucking good.
That's good indeed.
The voice acting was really good. Yeah, it was just it was amazing. Entertainment wise, this is one of the best episodes I think they've done.
Agreed. Hope they're all like that.
Yeah, well, they're not gonna.
Doubtful.
They when these ones come out though, they're really sick. I would I would have loved for that to have come out for a battle I was maybe a little bit more invested in, but
Yeah, like that one where Carnage beat Lucy. That would have been dope.
Oh man. Anyway, that's good enough for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Next week or in a few weeks, we'll check out Tatsumaki versus Mob Psycho. Maybe. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get through the whole anime by then, and I'm not letting them spoil me on fucking an anime I'm potentially gonna watch. So we'll see what happens with that one. Either I'll have to binge it, or we might just have to put it on the back burner for a little bit. But we'll see. So then, sit bright. Cash you on the dark side.